Hey YouTube, it's Earl and it's time for another tobacco review. Tonight we're doing one out of the bag. It is Peter Stokkebye's Luxury Bullseye Flake. Let's talk about it. Alright, so Peter Stokkebye's Luxury Bullseye Flake. Let's talk about this blend. It is a coin-cut Virginia Perique and Black Cavendish blend. And it's got a lovely presentation. So it is, it's got that nice dark center of Black Cavendish, unflavored Black Cavendish, I believe. So it's not adding like a aromatic flavor here. And then you've got the Virginia and the Perique mixed around it. To make these, my understanding, they do is they create a rope tobacco where they take several whole leaves and they're wrapping them around, and they have their center piece there, Black Cavendish, make it into a rope, and that takes some time to press it. And then once that is formed, they take it and then they make their slices to cut the coins off, and that's what you have in front of you. And I've seen McBaron make some of their coin cuts on some YouTube videos out there. So that's how they make these. Now, if you want to smoke a coin cut, you got a couple of different options. Two, I would think. There may be more. Somebody might know more. Options of preparing the tobacco itself. The first one is probably the most common one. Is you take the flake, you just put it in between your hands and you rub it out until it becomes like a ribbon cut. Or your other option is to just take it, fold it, and you can't really fold it in half, but maybe fold it in quarters or kind of crumple it up into a little ball and you stuff it into your pipe. You will get two different smoking experiences. I'm not sure that the flavor will be terribly different, but your smoking experiences will be different. If you fold and stuff, you generally are going to get a longer, cooler smoke. There's not going to be as much air in between the tobacco itself. And so it'll burn a little bit cooler for you. I mean, that's just kind of understood. You're going to have to pack it a little bit looser because you don't want it well, for your draw to get too tight or to create excess moisture into the smoke itself. But I've done both, where I fold and stuff and I rub it out. Either way, it's a pleasant experience one way or the other. So let me light this up and give you my thoughts on what it tastes like. Actually, before that, I probably should give you what I think it smells like in the baggie. When I kind of just take a group of coins and get them a little bit closer to my nose, what I do smell is some hay, some grass, and kind of like a little molassesy smell or aroma. It's not an aromatic tobacco. It probably is cased with something, but it's not an aromatic tobacco. With that, let me jump in and tell you my thoughts on the smoke. My estimation of this is it's really kind of just a good old Virginia blend. I think there's some Perique here. I don't really pick it up all that much. I think, of the times I've smoked it, I've really tasted more Virginia flavor than I have Perique. In fact, I was listening to the Country Squire radio, and the topic they talked about Camoys cask number 7, and they talked about this tobacco in particular. And when he said it had Perique in it, I went, it's got Perique. Wait a second. Let me double check that. And sure enough, on Tobacco Reviews and Smoking Pipes, it says Perique. Now, there is some pepper on the tongue, but I've always kind of associated that with a little bit of the pepperiness you can get just from a straight Virginia. There's definitely some citrusy, lemony flavors here. And it kind of settles in after that first quarter of the bowl. I find it settles in to what I would consider kind of a rich Virginia flavor. Kind of more the darker Virginia flavors, so a little more on the earthy side. A little bit more bread-like quality than hay or grass, and a little bit of sweetness, but not much. The black Cavendish is really just kind of there to smooth out the flavor a little bit. John David Cole said that on the podcast that posted today. But I've also heard or read Jeremy Reeves say that before too, that black Cavendish very much acts as a kind of flavor spreader in tobacco blends, maybe kind of like flour and a roux, I think maybe is the way I've heard it described. Something that you don't taste a lot of by itself, but it's there, and it spreads flavor. But overall, here's what I get is a fairly mild Virginia smoke. Not a ton to write home about. Not a ton of flavor. It probably would age exceptionally well if given time for those Virginias to kind of mature and sweeten. You know, it reminds me a lot of a Scudo. In that I didn't particularly find a Scudo to knock me over in the flavor department. The Scudo was just kind of like, meh. It's not a bad smoke, but it doesn't have anything that has just got me going, I got to get more of that in my life. And that's where I'm at. I want to like it a lot because the presentation is so pretty. But quite frankly, I don't. I don't dislike it. I'm just not. Want more. It's a kind of bland Virginia to me. Well, gang, it's been Earl. It's my thoughts on Peter Stokkebye's luxury Bullseye Flake. If you like Virginias and you like them on the mild side, give it a try. This one's not for me. It's a shame with a name like Luxury Bullseye Flake. Could be great. Presentation's great. Everything about it, it's a pretty good blend. Just not enough flavor for me. Y'all have a good evening.